Hello YouTube, and a happy Tuesday to you, depending on where and when you are when you see this video, if you see this video. Yesterday was Monday, September the 27th, and it was the day of big planned trucker strikes that I have been able to find very little information on, at least in terms of what actually happened. If you're a follower of the Asian May Show trucking channel on YouTube, or Asian Mai, I really do not know how to pronounce that. I do apologize if that was butchered and caused offense. I hope it did not. But anyway, he's a gentleman. If you're any kind of truck driver on YouTube, or you watch trucking channels on YouTube, you've seen his content almost a guarantee, or you've seen it in the feed. Very prolific creator of videos. He's the guy I first heard about the trucker strike from, as I am a subscriber of his. One of the more recent videos that I haven't watched yet is one of the responses, a legal response, so to speak, or at least a response from a person in legal authority. If you saw the video about the Attorney General or the prosecutor from Ohio, let's see here. According to the most common, or the most easily found story I found about the truck strike from yesterday, comes from Cincinnati.com, and where it says there was no sign Monday morning that truckers were staging protests of the vaccination and mask mandates by causing disruptions on local highways. But it goes on to say that Ohio officials were monitoring things after they saw stuff on social media about it. And one of the spokespersons from Highway Patrol, I'm being loaded right now, said that we're monitoring the situation closely and there are no known issues at this time. Let's see here. Let me find the big kahuna here. Here it is. Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters warned over the weekend that any demonstrators participating in a nationwide call on social media such as Facebook and TikTok for truck drivers to participate in a PATRIOT shutdown would be put behind bars. He's quoted as saying, "I want to be perfectly clear, anyone who attempts to shut down the highways in Hamilton County will be removed from their vehicles, charged with felony disrupting public services, and they will go to jail." He goes on to say, "To those who claim to be supportive of law enforcement is not with you. This would pose a serious danger for our first responders and the community at large." He finishes his statement by saying, "I have always been supportive of a citizen's First Amendment right to protest, but this is not lawful and it is reckless. It will not be tolerated." So that's from Hamilton County in Ohio. And as far as anything that may or may not have happened anywhere else, I honestly am not aware. I haven't seen any other videos or statements or news stories about any potential or actual shutdowns of any highways, byways, roads, or any other gatherings of truck drivers to protest. For those who chose to protest by not working on Monday, yesterday, let me get the English going here. My honest opinion is that those of you who decided to protest the Biden vaccine mandate by not working, by not moving freight, but also by not obstructing a highway, in my opinion, you made the correct decision when it came to your protest, your voice, your strike. I personally feel that attempting to obstruct highways or cause traffic slowdowns in protest, it's stupid. I'm just gonna put it out there. It is stupid to try to obstruct the highways, because it's going to amount to a very short-term argument, a very short-term protest, and it's going to have significant legal repercussions for anyone who participates in it because, as Joe Dieters has come out and said, that's a felony charge in Hamilton County, Ohio, and possibly a heck of a lot of other places. That is a felony charge, which means that you get a felony charge on your record, you spend time in jail, and now you have to deal with the potentially long-standing, permanent legal ramifications of slow rolling or blocking traffic on an interstate or a highway or whatever the case may be. Honestly, if that was the only strategy that we truckers felt that was available to us, I would say no, that's foolishness. There is a better way. And in my opinion, the better way to go about protesting the vaccine mandate, which has already been challenged by a variety of states, governors and or attorneys general or both, which in a lot of ways renders the protest kind of moot because the legal challenge that actually will probably end up succeeding is already underway. The better way to protest these sorts of things, these excesses of government action, or protesting things that have a negative impact on the trucking industry, truck drivers, or owner-operators, or small businesses, or whatever the case may be, in my opinion, the best decision that we as truckers can make is not to inconvenience the public on the roads, but to punch the people straight in the wallet who are trying to enact whatever the case may be, issue, decision, or policy that has a negative effect on you as the trucker, or you as the driver, or whatever the owner, whatever your status actually is. Obstructing traffic doesn't help. Not pulling freight at all, that says something, because that means goods aren't being delivered, money's not being made. Businesses that depend on those loads, now they can't sell the product or fulfill an order for the product that they are carrying, that you're bringing to them. Now customers aren't getting their freight. Now people are going to sit up and take notice. Wait a minute, where's my stuff? Why can't my business function? Why am I in trouble because of this issue? Then you go through the pipeline and figure, oh, it's because the federal government's trying to make truckers do X, Y, Z, and they're mad at the truckers are protesting, they don't want to do it. Oh, okay, well, that's a problem for me, so I'm going to yell at my congressman or my senator or whoever about, hey, fix this. This jobs are on the line. You got to do something about this. Get these guys moving again. Do something. Make them happy. I don't care. Get my business back online. Money talks. Traffic jams do not. If you live anywhere near a major city like Atlanta, Chicago, where I base out of Chicago area, New York City, San Francisco, Los Angeles, wherever, traffic jams are so routine that they are a toothless method of protest. And it just exposes you to real significant legal hurt. And there's no point in putting yourself in that position for the sake of, a simple one-day protest. No, you want to make your voice heard, you want to get your point across, organize with hundreds, if not thousands, of other drivers, and then everyone come to an agreement where they park their trucks, their trailers, whatever, their equipment, safely and securely off of interstates, off of highways, wherever, at their home terminals or their own property, or at truck stops, or whatever the case may be, and you just don't work. You don't move freight. You do not enable businesses to continue conducting business. Real quick, that's going to get that message across. But to make it stick, here's the kicker though. I've been thinking about this off and on all day before I decided to record this. In my opinion, the only way for a trucker strike to really make sure that actual change happens at the state and federal level, and even the local level, at all levels of government, we as drivers have to be prepared to shut down, not for one day, not for a week, a month. One whole month. But here's the caveat to that. A one-day protest where we block interstates or obstruct traffic or slow roll or whatever the case may be, that doesn't hurt our friends, our families, or really, it doesn't really do much of anything to anyone except cause temporary inconvenience to the traveling public. If 10,000 trucks stop moving for a month, you're looking at moderate to very significant disruptions in the supply chain. If 50,000 to 100,000 trucks stop moving for a month, now you're looking at catastrophic issues in the supply chain. If 200,000, 500,000, 800,000 trucks stop moving, now you're looking at an apocalyptic disruption of the global supply chain as it pertains to the USA, because I don't know how many trucks operate on a daily basis in the US. I'm assuming it's close to 1 million, maybe 2 million. I really have no idea. Maybe it's only 800, 900,000. I really don't know. I'm just pulling numbers out of my face here for the lack of a better term. If 20 to 50 to 75% of the logistical workforce stops moving freight, the economy of the United States of America shuts down. That puts everyone at risk for shortages of food, medicine, daily essentials, energy in terms of, fuel being brought to gas stations, and also energy or ingredients for energy that go to different facilities and power plants. That's going to require major action at the state, federal, local level real quick in order to mitigate the damage from that level of a strike, that level of a labor stoppage. Because now you're looking at major grocery shortages nationwide. You're looking at, especially coming up on the holidays. I mean, it's September 28th right now. We've got Black Friday coming up here in just about 2 months, give or take a couple of days. And already, I know for a fact that a lot of major retailers and warehouses and whoever else, they are stocking up their shelves, getting ready to make sure they have enough goods on the floor or in the shelves or in the warehouses or wherever to meet the projected demand. Now, if Amazon can't fulfill their orders or get their orders to get their fulfillment centers stocked up with the goods that are going to go out to orders or go out as orders, that's a big problem for Amazon. If Target and Walmart can't fill up their shelves with all their goods, that's a problem for Target and Walmart. If none of the grocery stores, big chains, small chains, mom and pop shops, or whoever can get their orders filled and get food on their shelves, that's a big problem. That is how political power needs to be exercised, by disrupting what you can in such a way where it's going to bite. Blocking an interstate for a day doesn't bite. Just reroute around the blockage and then the driver gets arrested, whatever the case may be. But if 10,000 truckers shut down, 50,000 truckers shut down, 100,000 shut down for a day, 2 days, a week, 2 months, think about that. Think about the significance of that kind of disruption, where if your local grocery store is suddenly empty of all things essential, how long do you think it's going to be before different states or even the federal government starts coming to the table willing to talk? Won't take long, because that's going to impact them. The ones in power have to respond to the ones who do not have power. And what we as truckers forget is we have a lot of power. The problem we as truckers have is, how do we exercise that power? If 100,000 trucks stop rolling and we're talking about everything from energy to food, you name it, construction supplies, the supply chain disruption on a local and national level could be huge. And it could also have direct negative implications for our friends and our family. If our friends and family can't get food at the grocery store because we didn't bring it, how are we going to feel? You know what I mean? That's the conundrum. How do we exercise political power in such a way where we can get what we want without hurting anybody? The unfortunate reality, as I see it, you can't. There's just no way that I see for a true trucker strike to not have significant potential ramifications for the people we know and love. Now, if I wanted to go on strike, no one cares. I'm one truck. If my company I'm leased on with wanted to go on strike or said we're going to shut down for 2 weeks in protest of this, okay, they're under 1,000 trucks. That's not a big deal. But if the mega carriers, Werner, Schneider, JB Hunt, Swift, CR England, Knight, if they say we're shutting down for 2 weeks in protest, that's big money. That's really big money. And that's a loud voice yelling at whatever government or all governments saying, you got to make a change or we're not going to work. And that's going to affect the people in power. So, what am I trying to say here? Block an interstate? I think you're a fool. Shut down and not work, but unite with others, shut down and not work, and make it sure you number multiple thousands of people, multiple thousands of trucks. Now you're saying something. And that is when the people in power, elected officials, appointed officials, whoever, that's when they have to listen. That's when they will listen, because it's going to directly affect them. So, I guess I'll finish it up by saying, if a major nationwide strike is planned, let's assume for just a moment that Biden gets his way, his mandate is signed into order, and the legal challenges to it fail on some procedural ground, or there's a legal loophole they find, oh no, he can actually do this. For the sake of argument here, because if you are any kind of legal scholar, you know it's going to get vacated by some federal judge somewhere or state or whatever, and then it's going to eventually go to the Supreme Court, and they're going to say, no, you cannot do this. This needs to be a congressional legislative act. The president doesn't have this authority. But while they go through that song and dance, people are going to be caught in limbo. But anyway, let's assume the legal challenges fail. Let's assume that the order goes into effect. Let's assume that the vaccine mandate actually is able to go through. That's when it'll be time for truck drivers to organize and plan a shutdown and announce it like, okay, January 1st, 2022, we're going to shut down for the entire month of January. We're not going to move any freight at all for the entirety of January. No food, no fuel, nothing. All right? That's going to be a big deal for 2, 3, 5, 10, 20,000 trucks to decide we're coming off the road. That'll get the message across, saying, we don't like what you're doing, we're going to do this in response. We're going to punch you straight in your wallet. That's how it's going to have to be, folks. That is how I think a trucker strike should work. And honestly, unfortunately, that's how it's going to have to work. And the consequences of that, personally, financially, they can be huge. And there's a real chance that a lot of people that we personally know and love are going to get hurt by that kind of a strike. The question that we each are going to have to ask ourselves is, are we willing to inflict that pain to get the message across, to make sure that we can do business the way we feel is best for us? That's the hard question we're all going to have to ask ourselves. Blocking road isn't going to mean much of anything. Me personally, if that kind of strike was called, I'd participate. I really would. I honestly, truly would participate in a nationwide trucking shutdown, because I personally can sustain financially my bills and whatever for at least 2 months, probably maybe 4 if I really budget and don't do anything stupid. The question is going to be at that point, all right, will there be food to eat? Will there be fuel for my car or my truck at that point? You know, if that actually were to happen, if we were to shut down on that level, how fast would the government respond? That's the real question. But it's going to have to be in such a way where it makes it stick and it gets the point across. And you're going to have to be willing to hurt and also be hurt to get that message sent straight to the top, so they have no choice but to listen and make change. So take that as for what you will. I'm not suggesting that's what we do right away, but what I am saying, that's what's going to have to happen for us to get the message across that we don't like what's happening. The only solution, unfortunately, is going to have to be significant economic pain. It's just how it is, folks. That's the way I see it. I don't see a quick, clean, easy way out of the vaccine mandate on a protest level, or, you know, doubling of insurance on a protest level. I don't see any way out of that. That does not require significant personal and professional financial risk, or also health risk, or also causing pain to friends and family. I just don't see no way out of it. So, that being said, my friends, please, whatever decisions you choose to make regarding protesting, vaccine mandates, or mask requirements, or whatever in your area, please be smart about it. Please be safe about it. Please understand that businesses are making the decisions that they're making based on what they feel is best for their businesses and their customers. And it's important that we respect the businesses' decisions to do these things, even if we don't agree with it. Okay, we don't like it, we do business elsewhere. There's no point in screaming at them because they're doing something you don't like, in that regard. But when it comes to the government, well, we've got the midterms in 13 months. That election is going to have consequences. They always do. The question is, what kind of consequences? And will we truckers be heard leading up to it, during it, after it? So, take care. We'll see you down the road.